remember, back when you learned production at the beginning of this unit, and you took quiz 2 over that production. Here's what we saw. We saw an average physical product curve that looks like this, and a marginal physical product curve that looks like this. Well, here's the deal. Our average cost curves are mirror images of that. So basically what we see is our average cost curves are going to look identical, just inverted. So where average physical product is like a hill, average cost is going to be like a U shape. So we're going to have our average variable cost and our average total cost, and they're simply going to have this shape where they start higher, they decrease to a minimum, and then they increase back up. They both have that same shape. So they start down, they reach a minimum point, and then they increase back up. Now let's look at some marginal cost, and then we'll add marginal cost to our graph as well. So marginal cost, remember, is going to be that change in total cost divided by our change in output. A change in total cost divided by a change in output. So let's take this first one and let's compare this change in total cost and this change in output. So at the beginning here, I have total costs have increased by $100. So I had a total cost of $250 here and a total cost of $350 here. So I've increased my total cost by $100. That's a change of 100. My cakes have changed from 8 cakes to 26 cakes. So I'm just subtracting those to find those changes. That's all I do is find the change by subtracting. So 26 minus 8 gives me a change of 16 cakes. So I've increased, 18 cakes. I've increased from 8 cakes, 18 more up to 26 cakes. So I have an increase of 18. So when I take 100 and I divide by 18, then I get a marginal cost that is $5.56. Okay. Now, if I come down here, let's do this very last one right here. If I compare the change in total cost to the change in output at the very last time that I go from 13 to 15 workers, my costs have increased again by $100 because they went from $850 to $950. So I have a $100 change in my total cost. But my workers, or excuse me, my cakes have increased from 103 cakes to 106 cakes. So I have a change in cakes of 3. So that's a completely different story. My marginal cost is now $33.33. It's super expensive. In other words, that's so expensive that the likelihood that I want to produce that many cakes is not very high. I've added a lot to costs to be able to produce that much, okay? So our marginal costs look like this. And each time it's the change in cost divided by the change in the output. So this one where I get an answer of $4.55 was found by taking the change in cost here. $4.50 minus $3.50 is a $100 change in cost divided by the change in cakes. 48 minus 26 is a 22 cake difference. So I'm going to take my $100 change here, divide by my 22 change in cakes, and that's how I get an answer of $4.55. And I do that each time. This one's easy to see. Let's do this one. So $5 right here was found by taking the change in total cost. $5.50 minus $4.50 is a $100 change, divided by the change in output. I have a difference of 48 to 68 cakes, so that's a difference of 20. So I have $100 divided by 20, and I get exactly $5. Okay. Now, in the first time that I ask you to do this, I also go ahead and have you use a marginal revenue or a selling price on the cakes of $9. So that selling price on our cakes is our marginal revenue, because our marginal revenue is the added revenue we get by producing one more unit of output. Well, if I produce one more cake, I get $9 more. So that means marginal revenue all the way down that column is $9. Okay, it's always $9, no matter how many cakes I sell. One more cake makes $9 more. The costs, however, do change. One more cake here cost me $5.56. One more cake here cost me $33. So there is a definite change in what we see in the change in the additional costs that are produced. So remember, our goal is to find where marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal to one another, okay? So if we think about how those look graphically real quick, like before we go and consider our optimums, you had some questions, and those questions go along with production rules, okay? So let's go ahead and look at what it looks like graphically. Graphically, these cost curves, I just drew in the average cost for you a minute ago. Average variable cost looks like this. Average total cost looks like this. So when we add in marginal cost, here's what marginal cost looks like. Marginal cost does this. It goes through average variable and average total cost at their minimum, and it's generally an increasing value, okay? So we see that. We see marginal cost start, it dips down to a minimum, and then the rest of the time it's increasing. Just like this. It has that shape right like that, okay? So as we think through our production rules, what our goal is to decide, should we keep producing? Am I making any money? Or should we actually maybe not make any cakes anymore? Maybe this is not enough that it's worth it for me to make cakes. Maybe I only want to make donuts right now.